Imagine flipping a switch in your house. The light turns on instantly. No delay, no flicker, just power right when you need it. Here's the thing most people never think about. That electricity was not stored somewhere waiting for you. It was generated at almost the exact moment you turned that switch on. That balancing act is what the national grid does every single second, and it's one of the most precise systems humans have ever built. At the heart of the national grid is a simple but brutal rule. Electricity supply must always equal electricity demand. Not roughly, not most of the time, every second. If demand is higher than supply, the system frequency drops and parts of the grid can collapse. If supply is higher than demand, frequency rises and equipment can get damaged. So the grid is constantly walking a tightrope. Let's start with where electricity comes from. Power plants generate electricity in different ways: coal, gas, hydro, nuclear, wind, solar. But no matter the source, they all connect into the same giant network of transmission lines. Think of it like many rivers flowing into one massive shared system. Once electricity enters the grid, it doesn't have a label. You don't get solar electricity or gas electricity in your home. You just get whatever the grid is producing at that exact moment. Now, here's the tricky part. People don't use electricity evenly. Demand spikes in the morning when people wake up. It dips during the day. Then it explodes again in the evening when lights, TVs, cookers, and air conditioners all come on. The grid has to predict these patterns in advance. Grid operators use decades of data, weather forecasts, and real-time sensors to estimate demand minute by minute. But prediction alone isn't enough, because people are unpredictable. So how does the grid actually stay balanced? It uses layers of control. First, there's baseload power. These are plants that run constantly, like nuclear or large coal plants. They provide a steady foundation of electricity. Then there's flexible power. Gas turbines and hydro plants can ramp up or down quickly. They're the grid's shock absorbers. If demand suddenly rises, these plants respond within seconds or minutes. Frequency is the grid's heartbeat. Most national grids operate at a fixed frequency, 50 Hz in many countries, 60 Hz in others. When supply and demand are perfectly balanced, the frequency stays stable. When demand increases and supply can't keep up, frequency drops slightly. When supply exceeds demand, frequency rises. Grid control rooms monitor this constantly. Tiny frequency changes trigger automatic responses. Generators speed up or slow down. Backup systems kick in. Most of this happens without human intervention. Now let's talk about renewables. Solar and wind don't follow human schedules. They follow the weather. The sun doesn't care about peak demand. The wind doesn't care about dinner time. This makes balancing the grid much harder. So modern grids use a mix of solutions: energy storage like batteries, fast response gas plants, demand response programs where large users reduce consumption when needed. Some grids even pay factories to turn machines off for a few minutes to stabilize the system. And here's the wild part. Electricity moves at nearly the speed of light. There's no traffic jam you can see, no warehouse where extra power waits. Every second, generation is adjusted to match millions of people doing millions of different things. Flip a switch, charge a phone, start a factory machine. The grid responds instantly. So when your lights stay on during a storm or your phone charges without a second thought, remember this. Behind that simple moment is a massive, invisible balancing act. Thousands of generators, millions of sensors, and engineers watching the heartbeat of an entire nation, all working together so electricity arrives exactly when you need it. Not early, not late, just in time. If this video made you see something differently, kindly hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more interesting videos like this. Thanks for watching.